Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is LJ and in today's 3 days 3 ways I'm going to be doing a 3-day review on the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. So this is NARS's newest foundation and it is going to give you full coverage. It is targeted for sensitive, normal, dry, combination and oily skin, so that kind of covers everybody. It will give you a radiant finish, so I have it on right now so you can see this is my day 1. It claims to give you more of a medium buildable coverage with up to 16 hours wear. It has 33 shades in the range, which is quite good. It's really good. You can get this foundation now on Sephora Canada. It retails for 60 Canadian dollars, so it is quite a hefty price. On Sephora website it does exaggerate the point that you only need a pearl sized amount, and if you use too much of the product that it will start to crease. That is not supposed to be used that way. A little bit goes a long way. Apply it little by little and see how it blends out. I'm really excited to try this foundation. It has been hyped all over YouTube. I've seen it lately everywhere popping up, so I'm delighted to be able to get the chance to review it for everyone. So in my 3 day 3 ways I'm going to be applying the foundation in 3 different techniques, 3 different applications, and see how they all differ from each other. I'm aware that people apply their foundation and wear their foundation differently, so I'd like to show how the foundation works in 3 different ways. I myself have combination skin type, so I'm oily in the T-zone and I have a dry exterior. At the start of each day I explain what I'm going to be doing that day. If you want to see a full explanation of what 3 days 3 days is, I have a blog post linked in the description box below. If you like my idea and if you want to see more 3 day 3 ways foundation reviews, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be uploading as many 3 days 3 ways as possible. I have a few foundations to try out, and anything that's new I'm going to try and get my hands on as soon as possible. Anyways, enough rambling, let's get on to day 1. Welcome to day 1. So day 1, I always do day 1 the exact same in all my 3 days 3 ways. So I'm going to be using as many brand products as possible. I don't have many NARS products, but I'm going to try and use as many NARS products as possible. I'm going to use a primer. I went to Sephora especially to grab the NARS Smooth and Protect primer. Then I have the foundation. I'm going to use a setting powder today and no setting spray. So let's get into it. So I have 3 different NARS shades here. You're going to laugh at me because I only have these size. So my friend got the PR sample box and she kindly donated these guys to me, so I'm going to try them out. I'm going to swatch all 3 shades on the side of my face just so you can see. It says to shake well, that's why I'm shaking them. It says to shake well before you use them. So here we go. That's the first shade, that's Vienna, that's light 4.5. The second shade is Fiji and that is light 5. The third shade I have is Punjab and that is medium 1. So you can see there's 3 shades on my skin. Sorry, I overlapped a little bit. I wasn't looking in the mirror. So I think the first one is definitely going to be the one that is the lightest. Still a little bit dark, but I don't want to mix any lightening agent with the foundation so that it doesn't interfere with the formula. So let's see how that goes. So today I'm going to start off with the primer. This is the NARS Smooth and Protect primer. This primer smells really strongly. It smells like skincare, like a really strong one. It's tolerable, but I can imagine a lot of people wouldn't like this scent. It's almost like if anyone has smelled the Elizabeth Arden 8-hour cream. It's not the same, but it's along those lines, that type of smell. Very hard to describe. It's like herby kind of. Alright, let's get on to the foundation application. So it is recommended by NARS to use your fingertips, warm fingertips, to push this into the skin, and you can buff it with a sponge after if you like. So I'm just going to apply some of the foundation onto my fingertips, and it really emphasizes not to use too much, that a little goes a long way. Okay, the foundation is applied. It looks absolutely stunning on my skin. I usually, whenever I do a brush or my hands, I always feel like I need to pat over the foundation on top with my sponge just to make it look seamless, but I felt like I didn't need to do that with this foundation. Now it is very dark for my skin. I'm going to turn down the ISO just so you can see the colour difference. Now I don't have my concealer on or anything of the rest of my eyes done yet, but yeah, it's a little too dark. I'm a little orange today for me. But I'm going to test out the formula, and I'm going to test and see how it wears, and that has nothing to do with the colour really. So I'm going to go now, do the rest of my face, and I'll check in just before I head out for my day. Okay, I have the rest of my face on now. The foundation is looking pretty good. I'm wearing like a high neck, so it doesn't look like there's too much of a colour difference. I feel like the colour has actually settled into my skin really nicely, and that the colour match isn't too bad now. But if I were to buy the foundation, I'd definitely go maybe a few shades lighter. I'm gonna go about the rest of my day. I'm gonna be out for about maybe 12 hours today. So I will check in once I have my full day done. Day 1 done and dusted. So I have the foundation on for 14 hours now. That's 2 hours shy of the 16-hour claim that it has. So I couldn't wait any longer. My first impression is really good. So I was really impressed with how the foundation settled into my skin. You could see earlier that the colour match wasn't 100%, but you can see now that it's not too bad at all. And throughout the day I didn't look in the mirror and think I looked awful or anything because of the colour match. So I was really happy with how it settled into my skin. About 2 hours ago, I would say I felt like I needed to take it off, that it was starting to feel like it was going to transfer. But that's really, really good in my books, because usually after maybe 4 or 5 hours, I would have that feeling with like a substandard foundation. I have high expectations for this foundation because of the price and the hype that surrounds it. It does claim to give you a radiant finish, and I do feel like I'm quite the radiance right now. I'm going to do my little blotting sheet test to show you how much oils have come throughout the day. So I have a bit of clinging there in the middle of my forehead, is where I usually get most oily, as you can see, and I get oily here as well. It's not clinging too much though, which is really good. And because it does claim to give you a radiance finish, like, it's kind of expected to have a bit of a glow coming through at the end of the day. So there is not even a full sheet of oil coming out through my skin, and that did blot up really, really nicely. There's no lifting on the foundation. I feel like I could go in with a little bit of powder now and go out for the night if I wanted to. If you watch my 3 Day 3 Ways other foundation reviews, I always get cakey around my mouth, so it's not too bad with this foundation, which I'm really happy with. I do have like a little bit of fallout on my under eye, but that's no fault of the foundation. I never blame foundation for the under eye fallout. It's more than likely not powdering enough underneath my eye or the mascara I'm using that day. Are you ready for the close-up? So you can see the skin, there's no extreme lining around my mouth like sometimes happens. No lines around here. Very, very smooth looking. Like it's teeny bit cakey, but that's expected with my mouth area. I don't know why, it just always happens. My forehead looks great. I am after blotting already, and I had a few little lines in my wrinkles on my forehead here, but they blotted out easily. Other than that, like, you can still see my contour. My highlight is still looking really bright. So I'm really, really happy with the foundation so far. I was on the way home from work and it started really snowing heavily, and I got covered in snow, including like all over my face. My lashes were literally landing pads for snowflakes, and the foundation held up throughout that, so I'm really, really impressed with it. So first impression is really, really good. Let's get on to day 2 tomorrow. I'm going to be using the foundation as on its own as possible to give it the true test of time all on its own. Let's see how we get on with day 2. Hey guys, welcome to day 2. So I'm going to apply the foundation straight onto my face today. So day 2 is all about minimalist day. So using as little product as possible to help prolong the foundation, to see like the true test of the foundation. And also some people might only use this much foundation or this much product on their face, so it's a good indicator for those of you who don't like to use too much product on your face, to see how well the foundation tests throughout the day. So I'm not using any primer today. I'm applying the foundation straight onto my skin. So I just did my skincare, which is like regular cleanser, toner, serum, eye cream, moisturizer and SPF. And today I'm using a sponge to buff it into the skin. It's going on really nicely with the sponge. It's looking flawless. Looking like a more medium coverage today. And also for day 2 I only use cream products. So for bronzer, blush, highlighter, I'm only going to use cream products. I'm going to use no powder. And I'm going to set my face with a setting spray. I'm adding little by little. I don't want to add too much of the foundation. It spreads around really well. Like really easily. Yesterday was so funny. The snow came out of nowhere. I was on the way home from work. And like it was snowing all day. I could see the snow coming. I could see the snow at work like falling down lightly all day. And I had no rain jacket or an umbrella or anything. And it just started pelting down snow. Like it was really heavy and my lashes were just full of snow on top and my face was getting all like snow all over it. And the only thing I could think of was that, well, this would be a good test for the foundation to see if it will hold up throughout all this moisture. And it did. I was really impressed. I want to know, usually day 2 is my worst day because I have combination skin type. I usually need some kind of powder to set down my foundation. Does anyone use this method as their like regular go-to everyday makeup application? Let me know if your method is similar or if you have any suggestions on how to keep day 2 as minimal as possible. Like I know still using like cream contour and bronzer and all that kind of stuff is using a lot of product, but I do need to wear makeup for work and because I love wearing makeup. But I feel like using cream products is gonna like show the true test of the foundation on its own without the help of powders and primers. I feel like this day is best for those with dry skin, which I do have on the exterior but not in the T-zone. That's looking really nice. So I had a few blemishes pop up overnight. I mustn't be drinking enough water and a bit of redness is still showing through. So with the sponge you're definitely getting a more true medium coverage, I feel. I'm just going to try and build up the coverage in those areas just a little bit more, and if this doesn't work then I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, that's really nice. That built up really well. It didn't lift underneath or anything. I just hope I haven't applied too much foundation to those areas now because it really stresses not to use too much product. This is my first ever time using a NARS foundation as well, by the way. I've never ever used any other NARS foundations. And I have to say I'm super impressed. The price tag is definitely up there, but I feel like could this possibly be one of my new favorite foundations? Okay, that's all blended in now with my sponge. It looks flawless. I can still see my skin shining through underneath, which is great. So it's not too heavy looking and I'm a little bit dark looking right now, but it will settle in because yesterday it looked great after a few hours. And I'm going to pop on the rest of my face now using all cream products and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I have the rest of my face on now. So I have all cream products. My highlighter did go a little bit patchy here, but I think it's just because of the highlighter I used. So it's no fault of the foundation, I don't think. Just applied it with a brush instead of a sponge just to see what would happen and it went all patchy. So I usually use a ColourPop highlighter, the Flexitarian one with a sponge, but I don't know what I was thinking today. Ugh. Can anyone guess the theme of makeup that I've been doing the past 2 days? The foundation looks amazing. I have my hair tied up really high and you can definitely see like the colour difference between my scalp skin and then like my face skin. So I hope no one notices too much and hopefully it will just like settle into my skin again just like it did yesterday. Anyway, I have a long day again today, so I will check in once I'm back from work. Should be another 12-13 hour day to really test out this foundation. So wish me luck. Now it's the end of day 2 of testing out the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I think today is pretty good. So I'm going to try out some blotting sheets, and I know I'm a little bit more oilier than yesterday, and that's because my T-zone does get oily without being powdered. We're sticking, so that means that there's a lot of oils coming through. But I was really happy that there was no like breaking apart. There was no areas that got super cakey. It still looked really well throughout the day. It lasted the test of time, even though we used very minimal product. I had a bit of transfer when I was eating my pho. I'm a messy eater. Got it all over my chin, and when I blotted it off, some of the foundation came off with it, but that's okay. It's kind of my own fault. So definitely more oils coming through than yesterday. My exterior feels nice and soft still, nice and hydrated. There's no lifting. There's no real massive areas of concern. I feel like if you were a minimalist makeup user, this would be a great foundation for you. Or if you have dry skin and you don't like to use too many powders on your skin, this would be a great foundation if you wanted to be more long wearing and staying radiant and fresh. You might have to do a blot throughout the day. I forgot to mention that I don't do any touch-ups throughout the day when I'm doing my reviews, just to see how long they actually wear. I have been wearing this foundation for 13.5 hours right now, so it's claiming a 16-hour wear. I haven't gotten that far yet, but I feel like 13.5, 14 hours is a pretty good review for foundation. Tomorrow is day 3, and I will be giving my final thoughts at the end of the day. And day 3 is where I apply the foundation, assess it throughout the last 2 days, and apply it as I feel would work its best. So I'm looking forward to it, and let's get straight into it. Welcome to day 3. Sorry if I scared you. I'm doing still the St. Patrick's Day makeup. I'm going to start off with my favourite primer at the moment, and that is the Laura Mercier Radiance. I'm going to pop that all over. Yesterday I realised I didn't even do a close-up of my makeup, but I didn't feel the need to. It looked quite good. There was no like areas in particular that looked exceptionally bad like I usually have. And like even day 1 when I showed you the up close, it was pretty much the same. So that just goes to show that the foundation works well with and without a primer, with and without powder, depending on your skin type. I'm going to apply the foundation with a brush today to see how we get on with it. I'd imagine it will give me a more fuller coverage. It blends just so nicely, like that tiny little bit, and it just came from my nose and it's all over my cheeks. It's so good. If anybody's interested, I will have like St. Patrick's Day themed eye makeup tutorial up already on my channel for the looks in the last 3 days that I've had on. I think this is my favourite application so far. It's just going on like a dream. The brush that I'm using is the Tarte foundation brush, and it's a dense brush. I love foundation brushes when they're a little bit more dense. If you have any streakiness, like I find you get less streakiness with denser brushes, but if you do find any streakiness, because they're so dense, you can just like pat it out and no streakiness. I know a lot of people don't like using brushes because you get streakiness. I'm just pushing the foundation up into my hairline with my fingers so that I don't get too much product stuck in my hairline. I'm just diffusing what I have already on there. My scalp is a little bit dry and we don't want to have foundation flakes. Okay, I have all the foundation applied now. It's looking super even, super nice. Really happy with that application. I'm going to pop on the rest of my makeup and I'll check in just as I'm about to start my day. I have the rest of my face on now, as you can see. And I just want to show you my blemish that I have here. So you can see that it is, I didn't put any concealer on it, so all that's on it is a bit of primer and the foundation. And it's still a little bit red looking. So you can see that it is more of a medium coverage that way. And it would have been easier for me to determine the medium coverage if it was matching my actual skin tone, but because it being a bit darker, I think it just covered better the past 2 days, but for that blemish it's just camouflaged it, which I'm happy with. Like sometimes I don't want it to look too cakey or anything. And the skin is looking great. I used a powder in my T-zone, mattifying powder in my T-zone, powder contour blush and powder highlight, and a setting spray all over, and it is looking beautiful. Like this foundation is really, really nice. I have high expectations at the end of the day, so make sure you stay tuned to see my final evaluation of this NARS foundation. And we're at the end of day 3. I've had the foundation on for 14 hours now. I forgot to say earlier, because I applied it with a denser brush, I thought that maybe, and I was worried that I used too much foundation, because they harp on so much about the product that you only need a tiny amount, and if you use too much you will get creasing. But nothing happened, so I must have used like just the right amount. The foundation still looks perfect. I'm so impressed with this foundation. Today is the best day I've had with it, so I just blotted my T-zone with mattifying powder, and the rest I do as usual. Can you tell that I love this foundation? I'm going to give you a close-up just for good measure. So you can see my skin is looking pretty good, even around my mouth. Not too bad at all. My chin, there's a little bit of where you can see some redness coming through, but other than that, like, it's really, really good. Okay, my final thoughts on the foundation. Did it hold up over the 3 days? Yes, it did. It even held up really well on day 2, which is usually my worst day. So for any of you who like to use minimal foundation or have dry skin, this foundation is going to be brilliant for you. If you have oily skin, you'll definitely need to powder down with some mattifying powder to make it last as long as possible. I usually get super oily here, and you can see there's not too much shine. Let me grab my blotting sheets, I nearly forgot. Let's see what the blot is like. So remember yesterday I had almost a full blotting sheet and it was sticking down. Okay, it's not too sticky. And it does give you a radiant finish, so there is some shine expected with the foundation. And that is what we got. A little bit less than yesterday. And I think I also forgot to mention that this is a complete first impression. Day 1 was the very first time I ever wore this foundation. I hadn't worn it previously at all. I'm definitely going to go get it for my next foundation purchase, and I'm going to get my shade. I need to get my proper shade. I think that tells you enough about the foundation. I'd love to know your thoughts if you've tried it before. Let me know in the comments below. Is anybody else thinking of getting the foundation? Is it worth the price or not? In my opinion, a little bit goes a long way, so you're not going to be too wasteful on the product. So maybe it is worth it. Anyways, I've had this makeup on for 14 hours now, and I need to get these lashes off my face, so I'm going to leave it there. For all of you who watch until the very end of the video, are you enjoying the 3 days, 3 ways? I know they are long videos, but it is 3 days of content. If you're enjoying them, then definitely give me a thumbs up on the videos. And if you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Let me know if you end up getting this foundation after watching the review. I'd love to know. And leave your foundation suggestions in the comments below. Any foundation that you want me to review, I'll get my hands on it somehow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.